NCOP, Deputy Speaker, Deputy Chairperson, House Chairperson of both Houses of Parliament.
Recording in progress.
Of our two houses, good morning. Honorable members, firstly, thank you. Just to indicate that in consultation with the chairperson of the NCOP, we agreed that we should have this meeting today in order for us to work out our parliamentary program framework for 2026. And we appreciate that some of you might already be in your constituency work, and you'll apologize. You'll take apology from us for having convened this meeting during that period. However, it is important that we have certainty on our program for the year. I would now like to ask Honorable Chair to also make her opening remarks and welcome you to the meeting.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Greeting to your good self, the Deputy Speaker, as well as the Deputy Chairperson of the NCOP, the members on the platform. We take this opportunity and thank them for making time, availing themselves during the constituency period so that we finalize the framework of both houses. And we really appreciate the effort that has been made so that the committees should be able now to conclude on their program of the work that is before them. And having said that, we want to take this opportunity once more, welcome them and say compliments of the new year. And we wish them a prosperous year ahead of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. We will now take apologies from both secretaries of the houses.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, all the presiding officers and all honorable members and my colleagues. Speaker, I do not have any apologies from the National Council of Provinces. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Speaker. Morning, Speaker. Please accept the Chief Whip of the EFF in the meeting, Speaker. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carson. Do we have any other apologies? If none, we can proceed.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. We received an apology on behalf of Honorable C3 Frolic, House Chairperson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are no other apologies, we note those apologies of members who are not in the meeting. The agenda has been circulated. I would like to get a mover for the adoption of the agenda, or if there are any additions that members would like to make.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to move it for the adoption of the agenda. It's Member Dugmore.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dugmore. Honorable Mukwile.
Thanks very much, Madam Speaker and the Chairperson. Maybe before I move, or maybe before I support the Honorable Member on the adoption of the agenda, Chairperson, maybe if you can allow me, I want to propose that maybe we can bring in the item that we all know that currently in the whole country, or majority of areas in the country, they are experiencing some of the worst flooding, whereby I want to propose the item that can say that how the Parliament or what role can the Parliament can play on this current disaster and the flood that are currently happening throughout the country. So that's the proposed item that I want to bring into this joint program meeting, Madam Speaker. And thanks very much for affording me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. There is a proposal that we add an item on the floods. Honorable J.S. Mananiso.
Thank you, Speaker. One would want to just say that I would want to actually support the input by Honorable Mukwele as an item that we just need to note for specific departments to deal with on their issue. Move for the adoption of this agenda with an item as included by Honorable Mukwele. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, honorable members. That item will be now item 8 after legislation before the consideration of parliamentary program. We will then deal with that item there. Thank you for supporting the agenda as it stands with that amendment, Honorable Mananiso. We'll now move to the consideration of the minutes of the 29th of November, 2024. The minutes have also been circulated to members, and I'm sure members would have read them, so I therefore take them as read. We can just flight page 1, page 2, maybe to just refresh members' minds. Thank you. This was just to refresh members on the minutes. I already see the hand of Honorable Nkosimwelo Nokonyane.
Good morning, Madam Speaker. Good morning to you and your co-chair, the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. Compliments to you. You have already complimented us, so we owe you compliments of the new season and pledge ourselves to support you this year. Chair, the item on page 1 is just one minor matter. It's a referral to Chief Nongonyan. There's only one chief in Parliament, the chief whip. I would prefer Honorable Ngosi. We're subject to that minor amendment. I move for the adoption of the minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nokonyane. Next time, I'm sure the Secretariat have noted your request that we must say Honorable Nkosi Nokonyane instead of Chief. I also see the hand of Honorable Dagmo.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, if I'm not mistaken, I was actually present at this meeting because under the National Assembly, you'll notice that my name isn't there. And then in the minutes, it mentions that the programming whips of the NCOP, made presentations. So I recall that I was at the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. That is noted. Honorable Mukwele and Honorable Mananiso, is that the new hands or old hands?
No, thanks.
It's a new hand for me.
It's a new hands.
Okay.
No,
Honorable Mukwele, you can proceed.
Thanks very much, Honorable Speaker, once again. Mine is to support Honorable Nongonyama, that this is the true reflection of what transpired in the same meeting, and also to accept the correction that he said in future we mustn't commit it again. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Honorable Mananiso.
Thank you, Speaker. Mine is just as well an omission on consideration of minutes. They've written Miss Mabilo and it's Mr. Mabilo. So the minutes are a true reflection with those minor errors. So I want to approve them as well, but with that correction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we now move to the matters arising. I will then hand over to my co-chair, Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and my apology to the meeting. I'm en route to the constituency office. So as I'm speaking, I'm driving. Please do pardon me. We will now proceed to matters arising. Can I then request administration to take us through? Between the secretaries of the House, if we can just request that you take us through.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much once again, Speaker. Honorable members, those are matters that are arising from the minutes of the previous meeting. There are no matters to be attended to, Chair, insofar as the matters arising are concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Advocate. Honorable members, the matters arising, they are as stated, and all of them, they have been processed accordingly. We will now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the report on legislation before Parliament.
Good morning.
Can I request that it be flighted? Can we flight the report?
Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you and greetings to the Honorable Chairperson and the Honorable Speaker and all presiding officers present and all political parties present today. There was a hand of Ms. Tanya from the NA. Maybe it was on matters arising. I thought maybe you would have seen the hand and maybe give her an opportunity. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, and my apology for that omission. I may not have seen the hand. Over to you, Ms. Tanya.
Thank you so much, Honourable Chairperson, Honourable Speaker, and Honourable Majosi. The Secretary to the National Assembly is having some connection issues, and he just asked that I raise just one or two matters under matters arising. Additional matters, just to note that the sectoral parliaments in the framework for last year were youth, women, disability, climate, and men, and that these sectoral parliaments would be held biannually, and that in 2025 we held youth, women, children, as well as a climate seminar. I think there was also the matter of PJR and member support forum, and that these dates will be reflected on the programs when they're available. And then the last two issues was the passage of legislation between the two houses, just that is being monitored by the technical program committees of the houses. And then question sessions also being monitored, the coordination of question sessions. And very lastly, that the strategic plan has indicated that there is a focus on constituencies, and that this has formed part of Parliament's strategic plan, so that there is work undergoing and also work with the relevant office bearers to enhance the work in constituency offices. Those were just matters that came out of the minutes, and that you just asked that I just highlight, please, on his behalf. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much, Ms. Tanya. I want to presume that the issues that you are raising are in relation with the minutes that you have just agreed to. So on matters arising, can we then request that the matters that you were indicating progress on be incorporated into the report for purpose of completeness? We note what has been presented before us. We then request that it be included as well into the report as it was read by Advocate Pindela. Thank you very much, Ms. Tanya. Colleagues, we will now proceed to the next item of the agenda. Over to you, Madam. Can we request that it be flighted?
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Speaker, and Honorable members. Our report will start from slide number 2. Thank you. Slide number 2, please. Thank you so much. On slide number 2, we will be giving the summary of what is before Parliament and also the summary of what Parliament has done in the previous session. We have 29 bills that are before the various portfolio committees. Of the 29 bills, 15 of which are executive bills and 14 are private members' bills. There's 1 bill on the NA order paper, 6 bills are before the select committees, 1 bill is on the NCOP order paper. There are 5 draft bills before Parliament, and 6 bills have been passed and assented to, and 8 bills submitted for assent. Let's go to the next slide. The slides to follow on our report contain the full details of the summary that I've just given, but I will focus my briefing on the most recent legislative developments. As we see on slide number 3, I've highlighted the Independent Municipal Demarcation Authority Bill, B14D of 2022, which is before the Portfolio Committee on COCTA, after the Select Committee reported on the bill with amendments on the 4th of November 2025. So the NCOP considered and passed the bill on the 27th of November 2025 with amendments, and it was returned to the Portfolio Committee for consideration of the NCOP amendments. Let's move to the next reporting slide, which is slide number 4. On slide number 4, I'm reporting on a bill that was introduced on the 12th of December 2025, which is the Constitution 23rd Amendment Bill, B34 of 2025. It is a proposed Section 74, and it was referred to the Portfolio Committee on Justice. So on slide number 5, I'm indicating that this bill is also on the NA order paper for first reading as per the request by the honorable member. This is a private member's bill. And the next reporting slide, it's slide number 7. On slide number 7, I'm reporting that currently there are 6 bills before the select committees. But then there are 3 bills, which is the Rates Bill, B14 of 2025, which was considered and passed by the National Assembly on the 4th of December and transmitted to the NCOP for concurrence. And the Taxation Laws and Tax Administration Laws Amendment Bills were also considered and passed by the National Assembly on the 13th of January and transmitted to the NCOP for concurrence. So the Bills Office is also working on the second languages of these bills so that if the House passes these bills, they will be sent to the President as soon as possible. The next reporting slide is slide number 10. On slide number 10, we're also reporting on the Revenues Amendment Bill, B5 of 2025, which was passed by Parliament on the 29th of October 2025. And the assent was published in the ATC of 8 January 2026. So the second language is of this act was Afrikaans, is Afrikaans, and the act will be sent to the Constitutional Court for safekeeping as soon as we receive it. The last reporting slide, it's slide number 11. On slide number 11, thank you. On slide number 11, I'm indicating the list of bills that were recently passed by Parliament and submitted to the President for assent. So that is the list, which is 7 bills were passed by Parliament, and there was 1 bill that was before the President. So the number of bills that are currently with the Presidency is 8. Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. That's all from the Bills Office.
No, thank you very much, Dr. Mbata, for the presentation. May I invite members to comment if they wish to do so. No, thank you very much. I take it, colleagues, we are happy with the report as presented. We will now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is legislation. Over to you, Dr. Mbata.
Thank you very much again, Honorable Chairperson. In this report, we usually report on the legislative program of that particular year, but since we haven't received the 2026 legislative program, we'll just give the statistics of the 2025 program, which is the program that we received in 2025. It had 60 bills that were identified to be introduced in 2025. So of the 60 bills that were identified, 17 bills were introduced in 2025. So we will await for the 2026 legislative program that were not introduced in 2025 as a part of the 2026 legislative program. Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you once again, Dr. Bata. Colleagues, here is the presentation in terms of the legislations that would be before us in the 2026. I'm sure we have noted what has been presented by Dr. Bata, which we will then proceed to the next item on the agenda. It's item number 8. I know that the speaker indicated that the item that has been proposed by Honorable Mokweli will then be number 8. Maybe we should take the consideration, and immediately after that, we will then talk about the state of floods in our provinces. If I may allow the programming whips to take us through the parliamentary program framework for 2026. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, and once again, greeting to everyone in the meeting, and especially to our colleagues from. It'll be 5 minutes on this, and I think it would help if the program could be screened. I will talk to a few background points. Essentially, as we all know, we are dealing simply with the consideration of the draft parliamentary framework for 2026. And this framework takes into account, obviously, the issue of plenaries, committees, dedicated oversight weeks, and constituency, excuse me, as well as leave periods. So essentially, that is what the program deals with. The key factors that need to be considered are the following: the State of the Nation address, which all of us know takes place on the 12th of February, and that is followed by the debate. Also, the national budget, which will be tabled on the 25th of February, followed by the budget votes and debates in May and June, and the actual passing of the budget. And then thirdly, sectoral parliaments, as has been indicated. These sectoral parliaments, in terms of this proposed framework, will happen every second year. So as was indicated, we had youth, women and children, and these will be programmed every second year. And then clearly we're aware that later on in the year, we will deal with the medium-term budget policy statement in October. I think as members are aware, the procedures outlined in the Money Bills Amendment and Related Matters Act, they do prescribe certain timeframes, and obviously in terms of this framework, when we get down into the detail, those timeframes need to be complied with. And then it's also necessary that the program creates space for members to undertake constituency work, and that is a key part of the NA program, so that we can feed issues coming from our constituencies into the House plenaries, into our portfolio committees, and so on. And then also just to note that the last local government elections took place on the 1st of November 2021, and announcements are awaited later on in the year in regard to that, which we will obviously bear in mind. And then if we could just go on to the detailed, a little bit more detail, and I'll start with the first term. We note that that first term is a period of 10 weeks, starting on the 27th of January to the 2nd of April. And in the main, we're dealing with State of the Nation and the budget instruments, which include the Division of Revenue Bill. We've essentially finished, as we know, the leave period. We're now in a constituency period up until the 26th of January. And then you will see there we have the oversight period, 27th January to the 6th of February. That's 1.5 weeks. We have the SONA debate. And the plenaries then from 24th of February to the 2nd of April. That's a 6-week period. Then the National Assembly has a 2-week constituency period from the 7th to the 20th of April. And then if I can draw members' attention quickly to the second quarter, that consists of 9 weeks, 21st of April until the 26th of June, mainly the consideration of the budget. But also importantly, we have a committee's oversight week, 21st to 30th of April for 2 weeks. Then we have a week of plenaries from the 5th to the 8th of May, the budget votes, the plenaries again, and then committees from the 23rd to the 26th of June, a dedicated committee week. And then the constituency period for the National Assembly is a 5-week period from the 29th of June right through until the 3rd of August. And then if you can just take a look at the framework for the third quarter, that is a third term of 7 weeks from the 4th of August to the 18th of September. Committees, a 1-week committee focus, 4th to 7th of August. Plenaries for 3 weeks. And then again, another plenary session from the 8th to the 18th of September, which is 2 weeks. The constituency period for this quarter is only a week from the 31st of August to the 7th of September. And then there is also another constituency period, you will note, from the 21st of September to the 5th of October, which is 2 weeks. And then finally, we go on to the fourth term, which is a 9-week term, 6th of October through to the 4th of December. We have oversight for 1 week, 6 to 9 October. Then we have committees, a dedicated week, 13 to 16 October. Plenaries are 6 weeks. It's a long plenary session. And then committees, 1st to 4th of December for 1 week. And then our constituency period, 7 to 15 December. And then we break for a leave period, 17 to 30th of December. And in conclusion, I would like to say that in 2026, if you look at a summary, 50% of the time is spent on plenaries, 9% directly on committees, but then also 7% on dedicated oversight, 26% on constituency period, and then 8% is leave. But obviously we need to note that during those plenaries, committees in the National Assembly would continue. Thank you very much, National Council of Provinces Chair. That is a summary of the framework from the National Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dakmo. We really appreciate that. Before I could allow Honorable Reddy, because his hand is already up, may I request that we take both houses, and after that we'll open up for the hands. I now allow Honorable Mulukume to make a presentation.
Now, thank you, Chairperson, for the opportunity, and blessed morning to the Honorable Speaker, your good self, Chair. And let me step in the protocol and greetings that were made by your good self and the Honorable Speaker. Chair, my fellow programming whip has touched on the issues that the framework has looked into while we were dealing with this matter of the framework. And safe to indicate that we had looked into several issues before we can get into this to conclude the framework itself. He has touched on the issue of the SONA, the sectoral departmental programs, and also as the NCOP, we are always looking into national and also the international commemorations. And in most cases, we put that as the footprint in our programs. And we also looked into the issue of the local government that will take place this year. And we had afforded the members the opportunity to use the constituency period to go and assist in terms of these local government elections. So the framework also looks into the issues of the committees, the questions to the president, the deputy president, and ministers. And in our first term, we had considered the debates by the political parties as the NCOP, because last year, if you remember, honorable members, we had to look into program because of several activities that was taking place last year, especially on the third and the fourth term. So now the first term as the NCOP will be looking into that aspect, and also the strategic plannings and the issues that Honorable Dagmo has touched on. I'm going to the first term program, Chair, and I'm going to deal with the NCOP part. The first term is going to take us 9 weeks. The NCOP leave period is from the 5th to the 12th of January, of which we have passed that. And to indicate that, Chair, this framework was adopted by the program committee meeting last week, Thursday. So I'm presenting a document that was also adopted by the program committee meeting last week. So the committee and plenaries is going to be from the 13th to the 15th of January, of which they started last week. NCOP constituency period has started from the 16th of January to the 6th of February. I've indicated that we are going to focus more on the constituency period to afford members time. The NCOP members training is from the 10th to the 11th of February, and I'm not going to talk about the SONA and the debates. Honorable Dagmo has already touched on that. The state of the provincial addresses here, we are also affording members the opportunities to go and attend their SOPAs in their various provinces. That will take start from the 23rd of February to the 27th of February. The committees will meet from the same time in February, and the NCOP strategic planning session is 2 days, the 3rd and the 4th of March. NCOP questions to cluster 2, which is social services, in the month of March, and also here we'll be taking questions to Deputy President. The plenaries from the 5th to the 27th of March. Yes, the Women Days that will take place on the 21st of March. And I think I'm not going to touch on that because we all know about those activities. The constituency period is from the 30th of March to the 20th of April, which will take us 3 weeks. Second term program will take us 9 weeks. NCOP committee oversight from the 21st to the 24th of April, and then taking parliament to the people will take place between the 2 months, which is April and May. Leave period, the 28th of April to the 4th of May. And then we'll go to the plenaries and the strategic plan and the briefings to the NCOP committees that will start from the 4th of May to the 19th of June. NCOP questions to cluster 1, April, between the month of April and May, and we'll go to the division of revenue bill that will take place on the month of May. Questions to the deputy president between the month of May and June. And then the NCOP committees will sit on the week of the 26th to the 29th of May. Here, Chair, we are going to the division of the appropriation bill by the NCOP after the NA has dealt with that. That will happen on the 25th of June, which is planned there. The constituency period, 29th of June to the 3rd of April, which will take us 5 weeks. Can we go to the third term? Thank you. As NCOP, this term will take us 4 weeks. And the plenaries will meet from the 4th to the 7th of, the 14th of August. Questions to cluster 3. And also the deputy president will be in the house in the month of August. Both activities will take place in August. The NCOP Provincial Week, 17th to the 21st of August. NCOP committees, the 24th to the 28th of August. Here we are stating the CPC that will take place on in September from the 18th to the 18th, and also the IPU assembly in September. Then the NCOP constituency period will start from the 31st of August to the 5th of October, which will take us 5 weeks. The fourth term, which is the last term of the year, is taking us 9 weeks. The committees, the oversight week, questions to the president will happen in the month of October. The committees also and plenaries between the month of October and December. The cluster 4, cluster 5, and the questions to the deputy president that will take place between the month of October and November. The joint programming committee meeting, which is proposed on the 29th of October, I believe that this one will be confirmed when the time is right. But we are proposing as the NCOP the 29th of October. NCOP annual address by the president will take place in the month of November. And then the division of adjustment appropriation bill by the NCOP, which will happen in the month of December. Then we'll go to the leave period, which is the 17th of December to the 8th of January 2027. Chairperson, this is the framework that was adopted by the program committee meeting last week. So I'm presenting it to honorable members. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Molokome, as well as Honorable Dagmo. Colleagues, the framework has been presented, and I now want to afford you an opportunity to make comments if there are any. I know I do have a long-standing hand of Honorable Reddy. He will be the first one to speak on this item, and he will then be followed by Honorable Ryder. There's also Honorable Mukweli. Those are the three hands at this point in time. May I request Honorable Reddy to make his comment?
Thank you, Honorable Chair of the NCOP, and my honorable colleagues and the also not so honorable colleagues. Very good morning to you and greetings and best wishes for 2026. My point, Honorable Chair, is that I need to raise this because I think it keeps coming
Order.
up all the
Order.
time.
Order. Order.
Yes, I'm waiting for your order. What is your order? Tea, coffee, breakfast?
I speak through the chair. I'm raising a point of order.
Over to you, Honorable Takma.
Thank you, National Chairperson. My point of order is that it is out of order for an honourable member to refer to honourable members and then members who are not honourable. I would like to ask through you, the honourable member, to withdraw that remark. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Takmo. Honorable Reddy.
Thank you,
Can you
Honorable Chair.
withdraw
Yes,
the not so honorable members?
yes.
We don't
No,
know what is it that
actually,
you are
it,
actually
yeah,
referring to.
it was
Is it
it
the
was
staff
meant in a
members or
light-hearted
what?
way. Yes, it was a light-hearted way. But let me just explain to Honorable Dugmore that there are honorable members here and there are also staff members here. So if you say honorable colleagues, I do not want to leave out my staff who are equally important, if not more important, to the workings of this committee. Let's not start the year off in the typical Dugmore style of petty
Honorable
politicking.
Reddy. Honorable
So I cannot
Reddy.
withdraw that, Honorable Chairperson,
Honorable
because I was
Reddy.
referring to the staff.
Honorable Reddy.
Yes.
Can you not pick up on Honorable Darkmore, because the point that he's raising is valid. Hence, I'm asking you to explain yourself as to whether are you referring, and you have done that. So maybe in future we would prefer you to address them as staff members,
No problem.
so that there is no ambiguity and confusion.
Sure.
And therefore, we would request that from your side. And thanks for the clarity. And I hope members will take it in good spirit that the reference was made to the staff members, but they are not so honorable. They are our staff members.
Most
Thank you very
honorable,
much.
yes.
Please
Yes.
proceed,
Thank you.
Honorable Reddy.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Right. Let's look at, firstly, the issue of the opening of Parliament. The appropriations debate this year. It was done during the week of schools opening, and it was quite chaotic. The issue of the venue. Now, there are important debates that has been scheduled in the program. And we've been having this debate now, year in and year out, the venue for the meetings. For the first time, we had the appropriations debate in a hybrid setting. And an important debate like that should never be in a hybrid setting. So what I would like to appeal is that along with the year's program, with the important debates, that these are held where all members are physically in the House. A venue needs to be sourced. Some would argue it's too costly. Let me tell you what is too costly, Honorable Chair. The fact that we are bastardizing democracy in this way by having these meetings in a virtual platform when we are discussing matters that's affecting the nation, South Africans. The budget affects every South African. We do it on a virtual. Let me tell you what happens on a virtual platform, my dear House Chair, Honorable House Chair, is you don't know who's sitting behind that camera. There could well be someone's child. It could be, we don't even know. And yet decisions are being made about the country. And I feel that that there's no price tag that we can put to getting a venue to ensure that all members elected by this country can sit in a house whom we can see physically, the country can see physically, and can that make decisions that affect the lives of every citizen. So I'm appealing, Chair, that we need to now decide which of these meetings are going to be physical meetings, and a venue needs to be sourced immediately. And that brings me to my final question. I think in this first meeting, we need to clarify how far we are going, or if we are going anywhere with respect to the National Assembly building. This has been ongoing. We have spent already millions of rands with that tent and moving around the place. What is happening? What is the current status of that National Assembly building? Perhaps we need to commit at this meeting that we're going to ensure that that building is ready by the end of this year. And we should be setting up a team, a special team, a committee that is going to focus specifically on that building.
Honorable Reddy, if I may interject, we've allowed you more than enough time
Thank you.
to
Thank
make
you, my
your
dear.
comments,
Thank
but
you.
in the main,
Thank you.
we
Thank
are
you,
on the
Honorable Chair.
framework here, Honorable Reddy. If you could just stick to the issue that is before us, I'm sure a platform will be afforded for you to ask all the questions that you've been asking, which are not necessarily relevant to the issue at hand today. And
Thank you,
I think
Chairperson.
you have wrapped up on the matter.
Chair, no. Chair, I need to clarify this with respect. It has everything to do with programming. It's got to do with the work of Parliament for this year. No. Frivolous orders, I don't think we should be entertaining that now. I am raising a point that whatever I've raised relates to the program of Parliament.
Can you hold on? Honorable Reddy, can you hold on? There's an order that has been called by
Yes, thank
Honorable Dakmo. Can we hear you, Honorable Dakmo?
Honorable, Honorable Daniels.
Just hold on. I've already made my point of order and you've ruled. I think this is another point of order from Honorable Daniels.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Honorable Daniels.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Greetings to everybody. I'll go straight to the point of order. Chairperson, it is unfortunate that Honorable Reddy does not sit in the Chief of Forum's meetings for reasons that we all know. Now, this particular point raised by Honorable Reddy, as much as there is substance in his points, but those items were before the Chief of Forum's meeting. Chief of Forum will be sitting shortly again, and I think that is the proper platform for these items to be addressed. Honorable Reddy is just merely wasting everybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Daniels. As I have indicated, Honorable Reddy, if you can just stick to the item at hand. And of course, there are other platforms where you will ventilate the issues that you are raising here. Would really appreciate. And I'm sure your time is up now, Honorable Reddy. I'm just going to allow you less than a minute to conclude on your matters. Okay.
Whether we're going to have a physical sitting in important debates this year. That's my question, and I'd like an answer to that question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Reddy. We are now proceeding to Honorable Ryder.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, I think Honourable Daniels is quite correct. It's clear that there's no handover reports given by the chief whips as they change in that particular party. Chairperson, thank you for the presentation from both programming whips. It is appreciated. As indicated by both of the programming whips, the committees have quite a big role to play and a lot of work to plan that emanates out of the passing of this particular framework. I think Honourable Dugmore mentioned the Moneyballs Amendment Procedure and Related Matters Act as amended, and the timeframes that are stipulated within that act. but also with a lot of other work and the coordination that needs to happen between the various committees, as well as with the ministers' offices, in order to ensure that committees are able to do their work. It does take an inordinate amount of planning. And Chairperson, my input this morning is merely a request that in future, this joint programming committee be held before Parliament rises at the end of the year, so that committees are given a good amount of time in order to ensure that they can do the proper planning in order to ensure that the work of the committees, which is so important to Parliament, takes place in a well-coordinated, structured, well-planned, and of course well-attended way, so that we can maintain the decorum that is required from us as members of Parliament. Having given those inputs, Chairperson, I would like to propose adoption of the framework as it has been put before us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ryder. I hear there's already a proposal for the adoption. I'm sure the members that are still to come, they have noted that accordingly, but I still want to afford them an opportunity to speak to the issues that are before us. Over to you, Honorable Mkweli.
No, thanks very much, Co-Chair, Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. Chairman, maybe first and foremost, let me join my colleague by welcoming the programming or the draft programming from both houses as presented by both the programming of the NCOP and the NA. But mine, Chair, I want to agree with the proposal that we need to have the Central Parliament biannually. But the only issue that I want to emphasize is the issue that there must be a work to oversee the implementation of their recommendations in the year when they are not scheduled, so that there is a work to ensure that the recommendations are implemented. Still on the same vein, Chair, I also want to raise the issue of the issue, especially on the same implementation of the recommendation, to make sure that all the issue that has been raised this year, we must make sure that the recommendation of our Women's Parliament, the Youth Parliament, and Men's Parliament are implemented, so that when we are going to go to the same Youth Parliament, Women's Parliament this year, we make sure that all what we have recommended are implemented to the latter. So those are the two input that I want to make. But other than that, I want to join Honorable Ryder that both draft from both houses are in order, then we support them. Thanks very much for putting the opportunity once again.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mokweli. There's a hand of Honorable Speaker. Over to you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair, and thanks to the two programming whips for the framework, which indeed I would like to support, but also just indicate, Chair, that it is unfortunate that Honorable Reddy raised the issues that he raised in this meeting, because a principled decision was taken last year that on major, debates, when we are on virtual, we will try and make sure that we secure venues for that. But we are also not dogmatic. At times, chief whips will meet, whatever considerations they may have, they will then make certain proposals, like it happened for the January appropriation. Firstly, even the holding of the meeting in January was done in consultation with the whips as well as with the minister concerned, given the late approval of the budget, which then became the reason for why the scheduling will be what it has been. And it was through agreement by chief whips, including the whip of the MK party, that the meeting in January be held in hybrid. So I just want to also request members that there must be consultation within their parties, so that at least all members in the party would be at one about certain decisions that may have been taken in other structures. So as the issue of the rebuilding, it's a matter that is dealt with in the Joint Standing Committee of Financial Management of Parliament, of which Honorable Des van Rooyen, who represent the MKP, sits. So some of those matters, one would have understood that, the party would have been briefed about where the processes are, particularly following the site visit that was held. So I just want to say it's a bit unfortunate, but also it's just a reminder for all parties to make sure that on some of these issues, there's a need for report back so that members who serve in other structures would also be appraised about certain decisions. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We are now proceeding to Honorable Makashule.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Speaker. Maybe to just check that one, the venue for the State of the Nation and the subsequent debate, whether those have been finalized. That's the first one. And the second one, Chairperson, it's just I was expecting both the whips from the NA and the NCOP as they present the framework to indicate that this being a local government election year, the framework, especially the second half of the year that is starting from July, August, it might be altered pending the date that the elections might be penciled down, which has got will have some effect, will have implications on the framework that towards the end of June, we might have to reconvene to relook at the framework for the second half of the year. I thought that the whips would have made that indication for the second half of the year, but the main one is around the venue for the presentation of the State of the Nation and the subsequent debate, whether those have been finalized, if they can at least be made known to the Joint Programming Committee. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Makashule, and all the honourable members that have made inputs. Indeed, Honourable Speaker, I would want to align yourself in terms of the responses to Honourable Reddy. You have touched on that quite extensively, and I would not want to go back there. On the issue of Honourable Ryder, we take note of what has been raised, and it would have been our wish, and ideally that would have been an appropriate time to conclude the framework. But unfortunately, due to other engagements that we were involved in, we could not have this meeting way ahead of time. Hence, we tendered our apologies in our respective houses programming meetings, and therefore we note what has been said, and I'm sure it was a once-off event which will no longer be an issue moving forward for the reasons that we all know. And there's an issue that has been raised by Honorable Mukweli in relation with the sector parliaments. Honorable Mukweli, I think your matter remains relevant. What we have decided on previously was that due to financial constraint, maybe it would be appropriate for us to consider 3 sector meetings per annum. And as a matter of fact, they have presented quite a number of them to be considered in this current financial year. Maybe this meeting, before we conclude, maybe we should revisit the sector parliaments that are before us and look at which of those that have already been undertaken. And we then look at the ones that we have not commemorated. Maybe we prioritize them so that we don't just put them there. When that time comes, there aren't any resources to make sure that those programs goes ahead, which then defeats the framework that we shall have adopted. So probably we would request that this meeting finalize at least on 3 sector parliaments that we want to commemorate in this year. Now, the issue that has been raised by Honorable Makashule in relation to the venues have been finalized and they're accordingly going to be discussed in the Chief Whips Forum so that all parties are aware on what will ensue in relation to the SONA as well as the debates. So that will then be discussed further in various platforms of parliament. Now, the framework, there's a proposal that it should be altered in between the year to consider the local government elections that are coming towards the end of this year. Maybe, Honorable Kashile, what we want to indicate is that has already been taken into consideration and accordingly factored in. If you would notice, the time for Parliament this year, it's quite relatively short period compared to the previous years. That was deliberate so that we take into consideration we took into consideration the fact that we are heading for election, and therefore we must allow members ample time to go to their constituencies and be in a position to campaign with ease without any hindrances in relation to parliamentary work. So that has been done. Of course, as time progresses, if the need arises that we alter some of the work, certainly we will look at that and accordingly convene a meeting that will precisely speak to that. But as things stand now, that has already been considered for this current year. So I think those were the issues that have been raised by honorable members, and subsequent to that, there was a proposal for the mover of the framework and a seconder. But before then, the point that we are making in relation to 3 sector parliaments, can we then request this House to look at them and we agree on 3 sector parliaments so that we allow our administration to go back and plan accordingly, and we don't experience what we've been going through towards the time of sector parliaments. They aren't resourced or dates are not being firmed up. At least we know by the time we conclude this meeting that these are the fixated sector parliaments for this current year, and they will be jointly attended to by both houses, and they are being firmed in terms of the dates. In terms of the dates, so we would request that this meeting look at the 3 and we finalize that, and that becomes the part of our final adopted framework. If I may request, Jerome, that you flight back the framework. Thank you very much. Can we quickly go through the sector parliaments? We've got the youth. Honourable member, there's someone whose mic is on. If you want to speak to the meeting, honourable member, can you please raise your hand? Okay, We've got Youth Parliament. We also have the Freedom Day. Honorable Sutole. Honorable Sitwelo, please switch off your mic. Thank you very much. Honourable members, as I was indicating that we've got the Youth Day, the Freedom Day, the Workers' Day, the Africa Day. Those are the proposed, there's 4 of them. Are we comfortable with all 4, or we want to remove one to cater for the 3? Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. I suggest that we can have all 4, maybe depends on how we do them. We can have debates in the 2 houses on the Freedom Day, on the Africa Day, but because we are actually marking the 50 years, if I'm right, or which year, of the June 76 youth, uprisings, it would be an important one maybe to have a reflection by young people today, in terms of where they come from, but also what contribution can they make in building a new South Africa. Maybe on that one, we have a parliament, which brings both houses and external participants from the provinces and from youth organization. But on others, I do think that we can actually have it as part of the normal debates in the houses. Thank you, Chair. That would be my proposal.
Okay, thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Cameron.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Now, I support what the Speaker is saying, but also just request that given that 2026 also marks an important anniversary of the adoption of the Republic's Constitution, that in our various forums between the NCOP and the NA, as well as the Chief Whip Forum, we also consider how Parliament as a whole will deal with that particular commemoration. But otherwise, I support what the Speaker has proposed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Dakmo. There's a hand of the Deputy Speaker as well as Honourable Mukwili.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good morning to everyone. Chairperson, I would fully support the proposal made by the Speaker. I think it is a very important date that we have to commemorate, and then I also support the proposal by the Honourable Dakmo. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Honourable Mukwili.
Thanks very much, Chair, once again. Chair, while I'm not differing wholeheartedly with the initial proposal by the Honourable Speaker, but I'm having a suggestion that how it could be if, let's say, we can prioritize them, because given the issue that in case if, let's say, we might have the financial constraint to know that definitely if, let's say, we'll have a problem, this 1, 2, 3 we can deal with. Because otherwise, if, let's say, we are not conscious that, let's say, we agree with them, all of them, but without prioritizing them, we might have a problem. So that's the submission that I want to bring to the meeting, that let's prioritize them to know that in case if, let's say, there is a follow-up, maybe we can make a follow-up only on this one. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Honourable Mukwili. I think your concerns were addressed by the input of the Speaker as well as Honourable Dakmo. When I heard them, actually, they were prioritizing the sector parliaments and indicating that we remain with the 4. Some of them will address them in a form of debates in our respective houses,
And the other two, we will have to find a way of commemorating them in terms of inviting the stakeholders to be participants in the process. So given the importance of those two events. So I think we are all in agreement in that regard, and we then want to indicate that there was a mover for the adoption of this framework, and as well as the seconder for the framework. Any dissenting view? None. Thank you very much, honourable members. The framework is duly adopted. We are now proceeding to the item that has been sponsored by Honourable Mukweli, that is in relation to the floods that we are experiencing as a country. And I don't know, Honourable Mukweli, do you want to go first? Let me afford you an opportunity, and other members will then come in after you. Over to you.
No, thanks very much, Chair, for affording me the opportunity first. But Chair, as I indicated, that we all know that throughout the whole country, many parts of the country, they are now experiencing some of the worst floods, which I'm making a proposal that maybe I propose that maybe the leadership of the parliament and the political parties and also the chief whips of both sides, to ensure that as parliament we are out there to monitor the government in making sure that we respond to this flooding that is affecting our people. But the second proposal, Chair, that I want to make is that maybe in order for us not to work in silos, I'm proposing that if, let's say, we can establish the joint ad hoc committee. I mean, that if I'm talking of the joint ad hoc committee, I mean from both houses, to make sure that they play a role, so that as the parliament we sing together, make sure that we support the situation that is we all know that even in the province where I'm coming from is extremely worse, that we are not sure as whether we'll be able also to come back to the parliament. But general, I know that the situation is all over in the country. So, Chair, those are the two proposals that I want to propose before this meeting. And thanks very much for affording the opportunity to start first.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Mukweli. I see the hand of Honorable Mananiso.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson. Chair, I want to support the suggestion by Honorable Mukweli that we must have a joint committee that would deal with these issues. As well, adding that people who should compose this joint committee should be the departments that are directly affected on issues that with regards to the flood. We can learn from what has happened during the last 6 term, where we had a flooding testing that was dealing with issues of business. So perhaps we just need to copy that framework and then use it for this part of dealing with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mananiso. Honorable Dakmo, you'll be followed by Honorable. I want to afford you speaker at the end. Honorable Mukwena, you'll be the next for now, and then after it will be the speaker. If any hand come in between speaker, I'll still afford those hands an opportunity before you, because deliberately I want you to come in at the end. Thanks. In that order.
Thank you. Yeah. No, thanks very much, House Chair, and thank you for Honorable Mukwele for putting this item on the agenda. I think it's very devastating to see the floods in Limpopo. I think we also know that we have a severe drought in a community like Knysna, and there are also fires in various parts of the Western Cape. And I mean, there are a number of other issues. And if you look at the NCOP program, we have an oversight committee week coming up. And I would say that what's critical is for both the NCOP and the NA to look at possibly our leadership of Parliament, the Speaker, yourself, Chairperson, engaging with those committees about actually making sure that there's formal oversight conducted and then reports being brought back. And my last suggestion would be that, arising from this meeting, a statement by our Speaker and the NCOP Chairperson is issued around this particular question. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Dakmo. Honorable Mokoena.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning to everyone. I would just like to say that I am in full support of the proposal for an ad hoc committee, especially given the fact that we need to have a Parliament that is responsive and decisive and is able to act swiftly in public interest. As we've seen also yesterday, there was also an accident where 13 kids unfortunately passed on from a road accident. So these are the kinds of issues where both houses should come together and have a strategy to go to the public and actually let them know that government and Parliament cares. And also just to say thank you to the programming whips for the presentations that they've made. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mokoena. I will now take the Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chair, and also thanks, Honorable Mkwile, for bringing this matter in the Programming Committee, which actually for now is the structure that has been meeting. I would agree that at the end of this meeting, on behalf of Parliament, that the two executive authority issue a statement in terms of what, the floods and other disasters that are affecting our country, as Honorable Dagmo has indicated, that it's not only the floods, but we also have severe drought that is affecting people and other productive sectors like agriculture, and also the fires that we have been seen raging in the Western Cape, which are taking over grazing land and homes of people. So I think we'll have that comprehensive statement. The statement on the accidents that happened that affected 13 students in Vanderbijl Park, but also other scholar transport accidents that might have happened in other parts of the country. A statement was already prepared by the Parliament Communications Unit. Chair, I would suggest if members would agree, because in terms of the line function, the coordination of disaster is done by local government. So I was going to suggest that instead of having an ad hoc committee, shouldn't we instruct the two committees to meet urgently, work out a program for, visiting or overseeing the various parts of the country that has been affected by floods? We have seen already that government, in particular led by the president, have been to these other two areas. And I'm not sure whether we would want to do those visits now or after we have had government undertaking, giving us a full report in terms of the assessment and the scale. Or we would want to actually visit some of those areas as Parliament. And I would suggest that if that's the choice we want to make, it is important to also involve the legislatures that are in those affected provinces. I would also suggest, Chair, if you'd agree, that in terms of Parliament, the house that actually connects us with the provinces is the NCOP. And in this regard, my proposal would be the NCOP should lead and then guide all of us on how we move forward in this work that has just been proposed. Thank you very much, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thanks to the members who have participated in this discussion. And we appreciate Honorable Mkwele for bringing this matter to the fore. As indicated, indeed, this is a matter of the kind of like a IGR. All three spheres of governments will have to be involved as we are going to embark into the oversight program. But national disaster is declared by the Department of COGTA after having been advised by the province itself. Right? They will first declare and hand over to national. And subsequent to that, the issue of an assessment, it will take a bit longer if we were to wait for that, because the province will have to do an assessment first, make submission to national, which they will then send their own assessors to verify what is before them in terms of the submission of the province. That process takes a while. If we were to wait for that, we might not necessarily go when it matters the most. Remember, it's about the people, being compassionate to those who are affected. Our presence will be quite meaningful to them, and they would really appreciate that, as opposed to us coming late in the year after we shall have received the assessment. And therefore, I would suggest that in the immediate, as NCOP, we facilitate all three spheres of governance in terms of getting the interim report that is before them and going for an oversight. Once that has been finalized, the assessment report, all those departments that are affected, we can even do it in a joint meeting where we then call all those departments to come and give account as to what are their plans in terms of addressing the disaster being led by the Department of COGTA. Now, if it is coordinated in that way, I think it would be of great assistance. So in the immediate, our committees, whether it's a joint oversight visit that we undertake, we go to those areas that are badly affected. And it's not only Limpopo, there's and also Mpumalanga, the low veld of Mpumalanga has been badly affected by these floods, and therefore we would propose that in support the proposal that the speaker has put forth in terms of how then do we go about conducting this oversight. Probably after this meeting, we'll just have to sit and come up with the program, and those committee chairpersons that are affected, both in the NCOP and also at National Assembly, let them be part of those meetings jointly, and we come up with a program of action that covers both houses. Okay. I see there's also a hand of Honorable Reddy, as well as I think Honorable Mukweli is coming back, and Honorable Mukwena. So in that order, Honorable Reddy.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. No, I think I'm largely covered. I'm just concerned that, when it comes to tragedies of this nature, we tend to start getting into the admin of things and trying to pass the buck on to other spheres of government. I think as national, and the proposal that the NCOP should lead the visits, I think is important. And I think getting a report on this particular accident, the causes of it, etc., is important for Parliament. And I think education is not a function of local government. And I think to say that I know we are saying disasters is a function of local government, but this in essence is education, it is transport, and I think as national parliament and as NCOP, we need a report on what caused this, so that we ensure that everything is done that to make sure that something like this never happens again. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Reddy. Honorable Mukwile.
No, thanks very much. My apology that I had the problem of network. Maybe you have made other comments that I never had, maybe so that I must not be seems as if that I'm out of order. But maybe, Chair, as I've made the proposal of ad hoc committee, maybe with the guidance that has been brought in by the speaker, to make sure that when I was talking of that joint ad hoc committee, the committee that will be there for this specific catastrophic situation or disaster situation, I was not meaning the issue of us maybe encroaching into other department responsibility. We all know that disaster generally is the competencies of the local municipality. But the point that I wanted to bring forward, both co-chairs and honorable members, was to make sure that as Parliament, we are responsive to the current situation that we're facing. I also want to fully agree with the speaker when he was saying that immediately after this meeting, we need to be seen making the statement, given all the incident happened, not only with the floods in Limpopo, all over in the country. But we must make sure that whatever we'll be doing, we make sure that we liaise with with all departments. That is where, Chair, the issue of the DDM comes. Because, as few of government, all of us, we must be seen working together. But as Parliament, because we are the upper house, when we talk of the level of government, we are the government that is higher than all government. But there is no way that we'll be doing anything that will not do it. We are not going to work hand in hand with the provincial government that currently most of them, they've already responded to some of the issues which they will give us briefing, but also the local government. But the proposal was to say, currently we are able to see that this is something that is not usual. Therefore, as Parliament, must be seen coming in. But I'm very much impressed about the advice by the speaker that we need to make sure that we bring everybody on board. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Mukwile. I think all the members who spoke on this matter, we are all in sync with your proposal, and the modalities thereof have been discussed as to how are we going to go about in making sure that we get to those people as in yesterday, so that we are seen to be responsive to their plea and their plight as our communities. And therefore, those modalities will be dealt with in details after this meeting by both houses being led by the NCOP, because the disaster is affecting our communities, and all of us who have a role to play in ensuring that their issues have been addressed timelessly, and we play our role in terms of oversight to the executive in ensuring that our people are assisted in the manner in which it is befitting for them. And thank you very much for those inputs and bringing that item to the fore. So it's a matter that will be taken forward immediately after this meeting. That then brings us to the end of our meeting, colleagues. We want to take this opportunity and thank all the honorable members for their valuable contribution in this meeting, and our staff component for being of assistance in making sure that this meeting becomes a success. And once again, we thank you for your attendance. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Thank you, colleagues.
Recording stop.